Good afternoon, student. Welcome to the live lecture of Real Analysis 1. In today's lecture, we were going to start our actual syllabus. The first unit of our syllabus is Riemann integration. We are familiar with the concept of integration right from the 12th standard. Right now, in this section, we were going to understand the origin of the integration and actually how it is being developed. Okay, it was discovered by a mathematician Bernhard Riemann. The full name is George Frederick Bernhard Riemann. Here we can see his picture also. Okay, he was a German mathematician. The life tenure is 17 September 1826 to 20 July 1866. He also died at the age of 39. Can anyone tell me who is the Indian mathematician died at this age? Search it. Okay. Therefore, he was also died in the early ages. The main contribution by Riemann is in analysis, number theory, differential geometry. Okay, and the most knownly concept for his rigorous formulation of the integral known as Riemann integral. The most important concept he has discovered, the research, is called as integration, and the name was given in his honor, that is Riemann integration. Though we have studied integration concept earlier, but now in this section, in this unit, we are going to understand the little bit basic theory about the integration. Okay, therefore let me go for showing my screen. Is the screen visible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Unit number 1, Riemann integration, we were going to understand. Okay, let me just write the name of this mathematician. Full name George Frederick Bernhard Riemann. It is always very motivating for us to understand about the life history of the mathematicians. But I suggest you to just read the history also. Okay, life history. The life tenure is 17 September 1826 to 20 July 1866. Okay, the most famous concept derived by him is Riemann integration that we were going to understand in this. Actually, this finding the integration is an arithmetic procedure introduced by the mathematician Bernhard Riemann. Okay, now how this idea came into the picture? Let us try to understand this. Suppose we wanted to find out the area of some plots. Okay, if the plot is in the exact geometric shape, that is if it is square, if it is triangle, if it is circle, we can find out this very nicely. But what about if it is not an exact geometric shape? Okay, that is, say for example, suppose we have this rectangular shape. How can we find the area of this rectangle? Suppose this is my breadth and this is the length. And how can I find out the area? Length into breadth. Correct, no?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
if it is a circle with radius r, say, what is the area? Pi r
Pi r
square.
square.
Yes, yes.
Right? No. Okay. If it is a triangle, that also we know. Half half base into height. Okay. But area can be found for these exact geometrical shapes. For perfect square also we can find out. No. What for perfect square? If it is L and L only length, then this is L square.
L square.
If the now the question is, if the area we wanted to find for a plot which is not of an exact geometric shape, what to do? Suppose we wanted to find out the area. There is a person who is selling this plot. Some X person is selling, and some Y person wanted to buy this plot. Okay, then he has to pay the rate according to the area, right? He has to pay the rate according to the area, square meter, square feet, whichever is calculated. But now, what one thing one can do is, let us see, Mr. X is seller. right? Mr. Y is buyer. Okay. Now what Mr. Seller, Mr. X will do, he will try to fit this plot into a big square, outer big rectangular or square, say, whichever is applicable. Like this. See, let me just try to. We will adjust our plot. Okay. Now what Mr. X will do? He will try to enclose this plot into either a square or triangle, and he will ask Mr. Y to buy with this area of this square. Will it be beneficial for Mr. Y?
No.
No. Why? Because he has to pay an amount which is not of the not for the area of the corresponding plot. Now what Mr. Y will do? He will try to fit one square again, say one square or rectangle which is being fitted inside the plot. Now what he will ask? He will ask Mr. X to sell with this area. Whether Mr. X will go with this area, red color square or rectangle? No, because it will be lost to the seller also. Now the question arises, how to find out the exact area of this plot? What one can do? Yes? Can anyone tell me the idea? How can I find out the area of the remaining portion of the plot? What is the way with us? We will try to fit some small squares here, right? No. We will try to fit some small squares so that it will be easier for us to find out the area of this remaining portion also. Okay. Like this we will go. Right? And we'll try to find out the area. Okay. How to find out the area again? The squares are formed like this. Right? Can you find out the area of those small squares now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Like this. Area can be found for the small squares. But what for the remaining portion again? Still some portion is remaining, no? Which portion is remaining? This one, right? What one can do then? Suppose I wanted to find out the area of this corner. What I can do? Again, I'll try to divide it into smaller pieces. Smaller rectangles, correct? And go on doing this. Okay. If someone wants to find out the area of this region, again, we will try to divide it into the smaller section and we'll try to find out the area. Likewise, whatever the rectangles, whatever the small rectangles or square we have been fitted, okay, we'll try to find out the area of those square, and finally what we will do? We will add all the areas, right? We will add all the areas. I will give the name, numbering to all the areas to be with A, right? This big plot, let me call A1. Let this be A2, A3, A4, A5 and so on. Okay. We'll find out the areas of all these smaller rectangles and squares. And then what is my job finally? To make the summation, right now? Summation AI, I running from what? 1, 2. Is it finite? How many times I have to do this process in order to go, in order to find out the exact area enclosed by this plot? This process will go towards, let me write first for n. Let me write first for n, some n areas, and what I have to go for? I have to take a limit n tends to infinity. How many times I have to repeat the process? Infinite times I have to go, no? In order to reach. Because however small area you have, you can divide it into the smaller squares, smaller rectangles. and you can find out the area, add up those area into the main area, and just go on doing this process. Therefore, this is what actual methodology is, and this is called as limit of sum. Right now, limit of sum of areas. Correct now? Limit of sum of areas. And whenever we will go in order to find this, we will get the area of the corresponding plot. Area of this plot, which is not of exact geometric shape. Okay. Therefore, this area, by finding the area, what we have done? What we have done? We have integrated. Integrated means what? In Marathi, we call it as ekatra karne. Na? We have integrated the areas of small squares fitted into the plot. Small squares fitted into the plot. Correct now? Therefore, the word comes into a picture, integration. The word come into picture, integration, which gives you the area of whatever it is. Let me call the function. Area of the function or area simply, and how it is being defined. This is defined as limit of sum. I think you are familiar with this definition, no? Limit of sum. Integration is also called as limit of sum. Understood how it is limit of sum?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is what a concept actually first studied by the mathematician Bernhard Riemann. That's why it is called as Riemann integration. Okay. Now let us try to understand with our simple examples of some functions, how those functions are giving us the area of the corresponding curve. Right? Examples. I will just go for example. Simple examples I will take. Don't worry. I wanted to take an integration from 0 to 1 of a function x dx, say. What is the integration?
X square upon
X square upon 2.
X square upon 2.
X square upon 2 between the limits
0
0
to
to 1. Let me put upper limit first. This gives me 1 by 2. Lower limit, it is
minus
0 by
0.
2.
1 by 2.
Can anyone tell me the reason why you are putting upper limit subtracted with lower limit? Do you know why?
No.
This is the method, no? This is the method, and we are following the method simply. Right? Now, in this topic, in this paper of real analysis, we will see this as one of our theorem. We will see this as one of our theorem. Okay. Before that, let me just go to the sketch. We'll try to understand how the area is half. Okay, what is this function f of x equal to x gives us what kind of curve? Yes, what is the nature of your function here? F of x equal to x, no. What is the nature of the curve? What it is going to represent?
Straight line passing through origin.
Very good. Straight line passing through origin. Right. Bisecting the quadrant actually. Okay. Now we'll try to understand how it is giving us the area. And what should be the value of your area? 1, no? Oh, sorry, half. Right now? The area should be a half square meter, square centimeter, square unit I will write simply. This is half square unit. Okay. Can anyone tell me how this area is calculated? As we are taking the integration with respect to x, with respect to which axis I should take the area bounded by? respect to x-axis, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Area of the function bounded by x-axis. Now tell me what is the area of this triangle?
Height 1 and
Let me write the name, say O, A, B, right? Therefore, let me tell just area half base into height. Yes, what is the base?
1.
Base 1. What is the height?
1 and height 1. 1.
Height is also 1 because the function is y equal to x. Therefore, this coordinate is actually 1, 1. But height is 1. Therefore, what is the area we were getting? Half a square unit. Right now, here also we have obtained half square unit. And what is the area? This is the area, right? Shaded by this ring, blue color. Okay? With the help of example, we have verified how this integration gives you the area exactly. Let me take one more example to understand. F of x equal to constant, I will take some constant. Some a constant. What is integration of constant? I'll take this integration of a dx between some 2 to 5. Is it okay? Tell me the integration.
AX.
Integration is ax between the limits 2 to 5. How can I evaluate? Hmm. 5a.
By
Na?
A minus
5a minus 2a is equal to 3a.
3a. Very good. Just try to understand this now. Suppose this is my some a constant I have. Somewhere here is my a. What is the nature of your curve? Nature of the curve is horizontal line. Is that correct, na? Okay, now these are the limits 2 to 5 say. Then what is this integration giving us? This area, correct?
Yes.
And now tell me the area of this. Tell me the area of this rectangle. What is the breadth? This is
A.
breadth, this is length. Breadth is A. What is the length?
3.
3. 5 minus 2. Therefore, this is 3A. You can check. Here we have this. Okay? With such more examples, you can check actually with the help of geometrical interpretation that how it is giving us the area. Okay? One more example if you want, I can take. Let me take one more example. Both the examples we have taken are very easy, no? Y equals to under root a square minus x square. X lies between minus a to plus a. What kind of sketch it is? What is the sketch? Y equal to under root a square minus x. Okay, let me just give you a hint. Let me take a square on both the sides.
Circle of
Let
radius.
me just rewrite. Yes, very good. Circle with radius. Radius A. Center. Center. 0, 0. Correct, na? Standard circle it is. Correct. Let us find the integration now. Integration between minus a to plus a. Integration a square minus x square dx. Can anyone tell me the integration? If you remember the formulas. Do you remember the formulas? I think in 12th standard you were remembering this. This is the integration, correct? Let us put up the upper limit first. What it gives us? a by 2. If I put x is equal to a here, this gives you 0, right? Next, here it is. If I put x is equal to a, students, what to tell me? A square by 2 sine inverse of 1. What is sine inverse of 1? What is sine inverse of
Pi by
1?
2.
Pi by 2.
Pi by
Right?
Pi by 2.
Pi by 2. Next, now I'll put a lower limit. Again, if I put a lower limit here, it gives you 0. Subtracted with a square minus 2. This is sine inverse of minus 1. What is sine inverse of minus 1? What is sine inverse of minus 1?
minus pi by 2.
Minus pi by 2. Okay. Therefore, what is this total value gives me? A square by 2 I'll take common. We remains with pi by 2 plus pi by 2. That is pi. And here this is the area pi a square upon 2. This is integration minus a to a under root a square minus x square dx. Now we will try to check with the example with the geometrical interpretation. Okay. Okay. Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to draw a circle. Okay. Right? Now tell me this is the minus a to plus a on x and y axis. What will be the area bounded by the curve with x axis? Will it be whole circle or half semicircle? Area of the curve bounded by x axis only. Curve bounded by x axis. If it will be the area of semicircle only. Okay. What is the area of circle with the radius? What is the radius of the circle? A. What is the area? This is pi a square. But what is the region under the consideration here? This is semicircle, correct? No. And how to find out the area of the semicircle? Pi a square upon 2. Check it. Here we have the answer pi a square upon 2. Is it clear to everyone now? How the area integration is giving us the area? We have seen arithmetic by arithmetic method and by the graphical method as well. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Now we will move towards now we will move towards a main definition, main concept of studying Riemann integration. Okay. Now, in order to understand the main concept of Riemann integration, we should understand some basic definitions. We should understand some basic definition. First assumption under this category is the function f considered should be a bounded function. Okay. Here I can write throughout this unit, function is assumed to be bounded. What happens if it is not bounded? Can you find out the area of not bounded function? Is it possible to find the area of not bounded function? Function is not bounded. This is the area, this is the function if I have, say, y equal to 1 by x if it is this kind of function. Is it bounded? This is not bounded, no. Therefore, it is not possible to find out the area of the not bounded function. What is the meaning of function is bounded? Bounded set we have seen, no. What is function bounded? Mod of f of x is less than or equals to some positive constant for all x in the given domain of a function. Right now, function takes some finite value. Is called as function is bounded. Throughout this unit, our assumption will be the function is bounded. And the first definition we are going to understand is partition. Is a partition. Partition of a closed interval. Here, this domain we were considering is an interval of the type closed interval A to B. Okay? If a partition we were making, then partition of a given open interval of a given closed interval means what? We have to just make a partitions. We have to make some small parts of your given interval. Suppose this is my given interval A to B of the real line. Making a partition means what? I have to make some small parts of this A to B interval like this. Is it okay? Therefore, the points I will call, this point I will call as first point x0. Let this be x1, x2, x3 and so on. Last point I will call as xn. Last point I will call as xn. Okay? This is just the partition. Just some parts are being made of a given interval. It's called as a partition. Okay? But here what is the definition partition? Partition means a finite set P of points, finite set P of points x0, x1 to xn where. Now what is the condition we were imposing on those x0, x1 and so on? First point I am taking as x0. Second point must be less equal by x1, less equal by x2, less equal by x3 and just go on doing this. This is less equal by xn minus 1, less equal by xn and is equal to b. What happens actually with this partition? The given interval is divided into many small closed intervals. How many intervals is being divided, is being made? How many points do we have in all? How many points are there in number? And how many intervals it is prepared? It has been made. Yes? How many points and how many intervals we have made?
N.
N points we have here.
N interval. Minus N.
Very good. N plus 1 points
N.
and N intervals. Correct now? What are the intervals? Let me just write. The partition P consists of N plus 1 points and N subintervals. And I'll call the intervals as subintervals as. Now what are the subintervals? What will be my first interval? Closed x1 to x1 is the first interval. Then close x1 to x2 will be the second. Continue. What is the ith interval can I write? xi minus 1 to xi. And what is the last interval we have? xn minus 1 to xn. Is it okay? N intervals are there. Okay. Therefore, if you make a partition and if you take the union again, whether it will give you the original closed interval AB? Okay, what is my question? Initially, I have given you this closed interval AB. I have made the partition, right? These are my subintervals, x0 to x1, x1 to x2, so on. And if I again take the union of all these intervals, whether it will give you your original closed interval AB? Yes or no? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Why? Because we have taken closed intervals here. That is, the inequality under the consideration is of less equal type. What happens if I take strictly less type inequality here instead of less equal? No. If we take strictly less, what will happen?
Open
If we take
interval.
this, these will be the open intervals. And once we get open intervals, if we take a union of all those sub-intervals, whether you will get this original interval AB?
No.
No. These points will be excluded, no? X1, X2
Yes,
will
ma'am.
be excluded. That's why we were taking less equal inequalities and the intervals is of the type closed interval. Is the point okay? Up to this, what is the meaning of partition? Making some parts of the given interval. If we take n plus 1 points in the interval, it will give you in all n sub intervals. Okay. Now we were preparing the ith sub interval for the general calculation. Therefore, what is my ith sub interval? Yes. If I call this as first, this is my first subinterval. This is my second subinterval. If the coordinate ends with x1, this is the first one. If the coordinate ends with x2, this is the second interval. Therefore, if the coordinate ends with xi, what is the number of this interval? Ith one, right? And this is last nth one. Okay. Therefore, what is my ith subinterval? Xi minus 1 to xi. Okay. Okay. What is the length of this ith subinterval? Length. How to calculate the length of the subinterval?
xi minus 1.
Yes, this is xi minus 1, and we were using a notation delta xi for finding the length. Okay. Therefore, here I use the notation delta xi minus 1. This is the length of your ith subinterval. Okay. Now, if the function is assumed to be bounded on the closed interval AB, whether it is bounded on these subintervals or not? Function is bounded on closed interval AB. These are the subintervals of your closed interval AB. Whether the function is bounded on these subintervals or not? सब इंटरवल बाउंडेड असणार आहे की नाही फंक्शन ओरिजिनल इंटरवलवर बाउंडेड आहे आवाज येत नाहीये का समजत नाहीये
Yes, ma'am.
बाउंडेड असणार मॅडम
हो ना किती वेळ आता उत्तर द्यायला पटकन बोलत चला म्हणजे मला पटकन पुढे जाता येईल ओके फंक्शन इज बाउंडेड ऑन ईच सब इंटरवल ओके is it okay if the function is bounded what is the meaning it should have suprema it should have infima also now here what we were assuming small mi we were assuming to be the supremum of a function f in ith subinterval what is supremum infimum we have seen no I will ask some questions about suprema and infima right suppose the function I have given you to be x square okay and this is open interval 1 to 2 can you tell me the supremum value of the function on this interval capital M supremum small m we were using for infimum yes
Supremum value 4.
yes it is 4 infimum value is
1.
1 correct if I give you the function say f of x equal to minus x on the same interval 1 to 2 what is capital M what is small m
Capital
Minus-
1 is minus 1.
Minus 1 and small m is minus 2.
very good small m is minus 2 here can we find out the maximum value of a function minimum value of a function For the first example, for the second example. Maximum value, can you tell me the maximum value of the function taken?
No.
No, we are unable to find out maximum and minimum value of the given function on this open interval, because on this open interval the endpoints are not included. That's why we were proceeding further for the next concept of suprema and infima. Is the point clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Shall we move towards the next definition then? These are infima and suprema values of the function on the ith subinterval. Okay. Now let me go for the second definition of Darboux sums. Darboux is a mathematician who has helped Bernhard Riemann in order to find out the value of integration. Right? If these sums are known as Darboux sum. Okay. The first sum we were going to understand is upper sum. Upper sum. Okay. And the definition of upper sum is summation capital Mi delta xi, summation I running from 1 to n, and the notation used is U stands for upper in the bracket with respect to the partition P of the given function here. Therefore, the symbol for the upper sum is UPF. Okay? And the definition is capital Mi delta xi. If you run up the sum over I, this will be actually M1 delta x1, M2 delta x2, and so on up to Mn delta xn. Mn delta xn. Okay. Now we should understand what this upper sum is actually. Correct? What M1 is? Suprema of the function in the first interval, right now? Mi I have told to be suprema of a function in ith subinterval. That what is M1? Suprema in first interval. M2 suprema in second interval.
Second
and so
interval.
on. Okay. Now we will try to understand what it is going to tell us geometrically. Understanding geometric aspect is very important to understand any definition, right? Okay, now what I have to do is I have to plot some function, some curve I'll take. For the sake of convenience, I'll take a continuous function in order to understand. Okay. Say this is my function. Okay. In which interval we were considering, say, A to B. Okay. What one has to do first? One has to make the partition of this closed interval area, right now? These are the partition I have made. Say, first point A is x0, second is x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, and this last one is x6. 6 points. How many intervals? How many intervals? Subintervals.
Six.
7 points, sorry, 7 points and 6 intervals, right now? Now what I have to do is, I will divide the function also according to these sub-intervals. Let us check how I am doing. I'm just drawing the lines in up to the curve in order to understand how this curve is being divided into the subintervals. Is it okay? What is my first interval? x0 to x1 is my first interval. Looking at the curve, can anyone tell me where is the point M1? What is the suprema point in this?
x5.
Here it is no supremum value of the function. Correct, na?
Yes, ma'am.
For may I say this is m1 in the first interval. This much is the curve under the consideration, no? Up to this much. How many? What is the supremum value among these? This is m1, no? Okay. Then what is m1 in delta x1 tells us? What is delta x1? Delta x I have written to be xi minus 1, which is the length of the subinterval. But what about delta x1? What is my delta x1 then? This is x1 minus x0.
Minus x0.
This length, no? You try to
Yes,
understand, please. This length. Okay. Now height is this m1 into delta x1. Therefore, may I say m1 into delta x1 will give me the area of the rectangular strip with height m1 and breadth delta x1. Is it okay? Check how.
Yes, ma'am.
This is a rectangle I have completed and this area is under the consideration. And this is by first m1 delta x1. Let us move ahead towards the second one. Second is m2 delta x2. Now m2 is my second subinterval. This area is under the consideration, right? This curve, this much part of the curve. And I feel this is the suprema, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the suprema. Somewhere here it is. Okay. Then what is this m2 delta x2 giving me? Area of this rectangular region. Correct? Similarly here, color I will change. M3 delta x3, right? Next, this is next M4 I can say. And this is the rectangular strip. This is the area, right? Therefore, each and every term is giving us the length of a rectangular strip. Right now? Now in this region, this is the suprema, no? So this is the region under the consideration. Okay? Lastly, this much. And now under this region, which is the supremum value, this is the supremum value, right now? So here I can plot the region like this. Okay? Therefore, what I wanted to tell you is, each and every term involved in this is giving you the area of one rectangular strip. Okay? And if you just add this, all the areas, this will be your upper sum. Okay? Here you can observe very easily. Sum of area is somewhat greater than the actual area bounded by the curve. Right now? This is above, no? Above the curve. This is above the curve. That's why the name is upper sum. Okay? Is the definition and the sketch clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, similarly, we were going to understand the second sum called as lower sum. And the definition is L stands for lower with respect to partition P for the function here. And can anyone guess how can I get the lower sum? Suprema we have taken in the first definition, no? What should I replace here? Infima?
Yes.
Yes, it's m1 delta x1, m2 delta x2, so on up to mn delta xn. Okay? Now let us try to understand the sketch. By the sketch, how it is going to represent the lower sum. Okay? This is this area function under the consideration. Say again, this is A. Let this be B. This is my x-axis, y-axis. This is the given bounded function. First, let us make the partition. This A is x0, x1, x2, x3, x4, and let this be x5. 6 points, 5 intervals. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now again, let me just draw these vertical lines to divide the function also according to the subintervals. Now, look at the first term, m1 delta x1. No, here we have only 5 intervals, there are 5 values. Where is your location? Where is your point? This area is under the consideration from this to this in the first interval. Where is where is the infima location? In this area, in this curve, this is suprema, no? Sorry, infima, m1, small m1. Then what kind of rectangular strip we were getting? Height m1, breadth delta x1, correct? m1 delta x1. So what is the rectangular strip I am getting? Is it like this? Okay? Small m1
Yes, ma'am.
delta x1. Now let me go for second. m2 delta x2. The curve under the consideration is from this to this. Where is your infima in this curve? This point, no? This point. So where is the rectangular strip? This much area, right? For the rectangular strip. Let me just continue. Now the next third interval is from this to this. Curve is in the third interval. Curve is like this from this point to this point. Where is this infima? Here it is, no? Somewhere here it is M3. Right? Therefore, what is the rectangular strip? Like this, no? Fourth subinterval from this point to this point, x3 to x4. What is this infima? Here it is infima. M4. What is the rectangular strip? This area. Correct? And lastly, in this area, we have this as infima. Therefore, this is the area. Okay? Therefore, lower sum definition gives you. And if finally what we have to do, we have to add the areas of all these rectangular strips. This will be your lower sum. This will be your lower sum. Again, if you look, this area or this sum is below the curve. That is, it is less by the actual area bounded by the curve. This is less than the actual area bounded by the curve. Therefore, we have one conclusion that actual integration is greater than by lower sum and less than by upper sum. Correct, no? Upper sum gives you the area more than the actual curve. Lower sum gives you the area less than the actual curve. Okay? Understood both the definition? Upper sum, lower sum.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we will stop for today here. In the next lecture, we will see some famous inequalities and the relation, next relation also. Time being, let me stop it here. If you have any difficulties, you can ask according to these two definitions. Yes, any difficulties?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Let us stop here.
Okay, ma'am.